Welcome to Pitch in the Zone, our weekly gathering of coaches that meet once a week to help a presenter with a 3-minute pitch. The coaches include Nathan Gold, hailing from San Francisco. His specialty is high-stake presentations. We also have Scotty Spursum, also from San Francisco. Her focus is on language. We have Michael Marchak, a CTO, author, speaker, hailing from Chicago. We have Massimo Peroncelli joining us from Thailand, a serial entrepreneur, and he will also double as our timer. So for the presenter today, keep an eye on Massimo's screen and you will see the time going down from 3 minutes to 0. And then, of course, Rick Pollack from Massachusetts, a communication coach who has coached numerous presenters, including TEDx speakers. And our presenter today is a real pleasure to welcome back Liederman Duin. Liederman of bluepoint2. He is a frequent participant at Pitch in the Zone. If I remember correct, you were actually also pitching in our very first Pitch in the Zone more than a year ago. Liederman, welcome back. And before we get started, just so we can give the appropriate feedback, who is your target audience, Liederman?
Yes, so the target audience will be clients, doctor offices, imaging centers, or optometrists, surgery centers.
Excellent, excellent. And are you going to share any slides, or
yes,
are you just gonna do your magic like this?
Let's share some slides.
Okay, please set up, and whenever you're ready, take a deep breath, and the floor is yours, Liederman.
All right, perfect. Let me move this here. Can you see my presentation here? Which one do you see? Hold on.
We see your basically 2 slides. The current one and then the next one. There you go. Now you are in full screen mode.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. My name is Liederman Duin. I'm the founder of bluepoint2. And what I'd like to use these next 3 minutes to talk about is a problem that you as a doctor and entrepreneur, since you own your practice and run your business, a problem that you have, a problem that is hard for you to solve, and it's probably one of the least favorite things to deal with, which is dealing with insurance companies. So what we have created at Navi, a bluepoint2, is a solution that utilizes that, what we call the revolution that happens today, which is in your pocket, and it's your phone. And we leverage that phone to make sure we connect with the patient at the right time to collect their insurance information so you can coordinate the type of care, the kind of care that is needed for that patient, and have the transparency on the cost of it. So today, if I take a wild guess, you do that with people, and based on the size of your organization, you probably have between 3 to 5 people making phone calls all day long. They make probably around 600 phone calls per week. 80% of those phone calls go to voicemail, which means they need to call that patient again to try to collect that insurance information before they show up to their appointment. So you can have the transparency of the cost, as well as you need to know how much you're going to charge. Because let's face it, you and I know that if you're not able to figure out how much that patient, their insurance will cover, and that patient lives, you are going to leave money on the table. And you are going to have to spend more money trying to chase those dollars that just walked out of your practice. So what we focus on is ensuring that I have not seen these slides, but that we go ahead and make sure that challenge is reduced for you. It is also a big headache for the patients, as you know, because it is intrusive when they get a phone call from a number that they don't know. and get a voicemail, and they continue getting phone calls. So what I want to show you is how with Bluepoint 2 and with our solution NaviPal, you can completely avoid that. And for that, I'm going to go straight to what matters right here. So we send a quick text message to that patient so the patient can proactively on their own time provide that insurance information to you. We will capture that image of insurance. We will do the OCR to know all the data that is part of that insurance card. And we will also go ahead and do the insurance verification. So we will get that information, put it against the CPT codes that are needed for that specific appointment, and we will give you exactly the cost that the insurance company will cover for that specific appointment. So we are looking for pilots at this point. We want some organizations that want to pilot this software for a month to 3 months. And after that, they can go ahead and purchase our software and services. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Nice, nice, nice. And you went over about 30 seconds, but absolutely well done. Super conversational. Michael made a comment about that as well. And one of the things that I really, really liked that you have done that I believe nobody else has ever done so far here at Pitch in the Zone is in your first few sentences, you told us that you are going to speak for 3 minutes. You gave us a very, very clear time signal. And I believe that is a great foundation because it sets the expectations. It lets the audience know what to expect. Really, really well done. Let me open, since I just mentioned Michael, let me open with Michael. Michael, what kind of feedback do you have for Liederman?
Liederman, you did a great job just being able to jump right in and talk. And we talked about this before, you know, coming into an unprepared or potential opportunity. You never know when you have this opportunity to kind of strike. And being able to jump in and be so conversational about something that you know, love, and you're passionate about, it came across very natural to be able to say, hey, I'm talking to you about this. This is a problem you have. And it's very, very easy to feel like I was in the flow and you were talking to me, even though I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. But the fact is that I understood what you were getting at right away. So that was really good. I thought the slides may have had some, hiccups along the way. Obviously, this was a quick presentation piece. You probably could have done it without the slides, honestly. You could have gone through and had the same kind of discussion because the doctors understand these things already. So as you're kind of walking them through this stuff, I would suspect that most of them would understand and wouldn't even need the visual cues that you were leaving there. The showing the phone and how you did things and how you capture the card, that was interesting. If you had the opportunity to do that with the slide or something like that, that's great to be able to do that. But honestly, the way that you came across, you probably didn't even need the slides to get the message through. Now, the only thing that I would say was one of the pieces that I don't know if it's felt rushed or whatnot, but at the end, your call to action was very weak. Hey, we're looking for pilots and stuff like that. So if you want to do it, come on, whatever. And it's like, wait, you just trailed off. You had this great conversational thing. And I'm interested now. You had me on the hook and then you let me go. So I'm hoping that was just because we're just kind of doing a practice run here. But if you, even then, it would have been good to have you say, listen, I'd like to see if you'd like to be able to try this in your practice, because I think this would be something really helpful for you. And that would have just landed it. But everything else I thought was very conversational and great. Just that call to action just kind of was weak.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I agree.
Yeah, I felt the same way. You kind of like just dropped off at the end, and I thought it was probably because you had a look at the time and you were like, oh, it's already red, so let me just get out of here. But definitely call to action, one of the things that you can add a little bit more punch to this.
We'll work on it. We'll make it really good.
Yeah. Scotty, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, Liederman, great to see you again. And as Michael said, you sound very conversational, which is great. The speed is an issue that we've talked about over time. And I think if you just slowed it down a little bit, it would be even clearer. I believe it took over almost 2 minutes for you to sort of get to what the doctors needed to do. Like it took you a long time to lay out the problem. And I think you can get to the problem more quickly because the doctors do know exactly what you're talking about. I didn't hear you say that, use the term reimbursement, medical payment reimbursements, which is most common to me. I don't know what the major lingo is for this client set, but I would get to that faster, like get to the pain point. Like, we know this is a headache. And I kind of like the demo. So if you did want to have a mini slide deck always ready to go, I thought the demo was sort of great so that they could see how the NaviPal worked. And also, yeah, getting back to the pain point. And then if you shorten up the beginning, it'll give you more time to get to the ask. And I think part of your ask could be, we're looking for pilots. You may already have a system in place that isn't functioning well enough. I would invite you to give it a try. If you do, if you don't, I would invite you to give it a try now because you need this. There's so many questions, including COVID questions. I mean, all of my doctor's offices here in the Bay Area have got everything is online, and they're texting, emailing, and a phone call even. So if you could get rid of the phone call, that would be ideal. And no, I thought that was great. Just less time in the beginning on dealing with the dealing with the background of the problem, and more time on the end for the ask.
Thank you. Definitely. Yes, I completely agree, because as Michael also said, I mean, if they get it, just let's move on to the ask and make that a good, that's how we close the deal right there on the ask. And if what we have is a short period of time and they get it, let's get to the point and make an ask.
Yeah.
One comment that I want to add to what Scotty just said about the slides, because I think we all felt pretty similar. You could have done easily without the slides. And the one slide that you had up was up for a very, very long time, with it's in your pocket. And I loved the demo as well. So up to that point, I thought, well, he wouldn't really need slides. But then when the demo came, I was very interested and I got back to the screen. So what you could try is to share the one slide for just a little brief period, and then go full screen again with yourself, and then go back again to share the demo. I think that causes some interesting kind of visuals as well. But in general, I think, again, the demo superb, and it makes it really much, much more clear. So the demo, great. The first slide, it lingered just too long, I think. Massimo.
Yes, thank you. First of all, if it was the same presentation like you did like 1 year ago, well, 1 year ago, I almost did not understand what it was for. Like now it was perfect. I immediately understood the meaning and the reason behind that. So absolutely huge improvement. I agree with what everybody else said already. To me, I like the fact that you were building kind of tension at the beginning, saying, okay, I'm going to tell you the problem and what you're going to do for you. And then it took you 2 minutes to say, what was the problem? So you were leaving money on the table. So I think everybody, when you tell them, yeah, you're leaving money on the table, they get interested. So tell them before, not after 2 minutes. And yeah, it was good. About the CTA, I don't know if you have a cheap or interesting price. If you do, it could be an idea to say, and starting from $900 per month, you can save 10,000 plus more. So if you have a small price, maybe people can get interested. Okay, tell me more about that. I can invest $100 per month or something like that. Whatever is the number in your field, I have no clue, but that would be my one of the ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Massimo. And thank you, Claudio, for your comment as well. And yes, I agree. And I had something in mind, and then I saw that I was already on red, and then I'm like, I just blew my 3 minutes here.
Sure thing. And for anybody that's just watching the video here, Liederman agreed to do this at the very last moment today. So there was no real preparation. And given that, I think it was really well done. Rick, what kind of feedback do you have for Liederman?
Okay, Liederman, very well done, especially with the short preparation time. I agree with the other comments. I was watching the time when you finally went into the solution, and I had the 2 minute 28 seconds when you went into the solution. But my suggestion would be is when you show that slide that Claudio mentioned, that the solution is coming and you've got the revolutions coming, you have that crossed out, it's in your pocket. Once you say that in your pocket, you can go right to the demo, right to the phone. Because all the other things there is, they understand. And then as you go through talking about that, you can just very quickly say within 5 seconds, you know how hard it is to get reimbursements for insurance companies, or if you don't have the information, you're leaving money on the table. This way, you're going to get the information a lot quicker. It's not going to go to voicemail. Here's how it works. And that's 5 or 10 seconds to do that and then get right into that. And to me, that's good. I think the objection that some doctors might have, and you've probably heard this, is not all of their patients can figure out the technology, especially the elderly patients who say, I don't know how to scan my my Medicare card. I don't have a smartphone. But if you have a stat saying that, in this area or in the San Francisco Bay Area or in the Kansas City area, 87% of patients will be able to do this. There's always going to be a few, but a lot of the elderly people have, sons or daughters or people who can do it for them. So I think you want to get that out there before they object to it, saying that, this is, even though not 100% of people are going to be able to do it, this is still going to save you a lot of time and money because you will be able to get that information by text instead of playing phone tag, leaving voicemail, or people come in and you don't have their insurance information and they're standing at the desk as they're checking in and they're asking, someone's asking them for copies of all their information. So I think you just want to get that out to make sure that you don't have an objection. You can cover it that way. But I like the concept. I think just focus more on the solution and instead of the problem, it's going to be a lot better. Great job.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rick. And moving on to Jess. Jess, welcome back. What kind of feedback do you have for Liederman?
Thank you. My feedback is a lot like Rick's. I mean, I think, get to the demo sooner because it very quickly explains exactly what you're doing. And you can cut out a lot of what you said just by doing that. The other point that I wanted to make was just that as a patient, I see this and I immediately think, great, something else I have to do, another password, another sign up. Like I hate the stuff. So give us a few reasons the patients will like it too, right? And just make sure you kind of highlight that a little bit. So it's not going to be another annoying thing that I'm going to have to take care of. But otherwise, I thought it was great and good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jess.
I like that comment about the patient to sign up because there's no sign up. It's a link and done. But mentioning that, I think it would be powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good feedback. Good eye and ear there, Jess. Nathan, what kind of feedback do you have for Liederman?
Again, from the bottom of my heart, Liederman, thank you for responding with, yes, I can do this less than an hour and a half ago. Really appreciate it. So not everybody's pretty much covered everything. So here's my specific, the opening ain't working for me. Now you have such such an amazing opportunity here, since you know this is one of their problems. I mean, it is a visceral problem. I see it in my dentist's office every time. One woman calls, Nathan, you're going to be here tomorrow. Great. Have you had the blah, 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 insurance card? Every time. So if they know that that problem exists, it would be better, in my opinion, to either state it or say, you know, when I was talking to Dr. Jane, scheduling this appointment, she told me that your 5 offices are struggling with insurance, blah, 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 every single day. We fix that. And just go straight into what everybody else has been saying. Show them the demo. No slides, just forget all the slides. Let all of that stuff happen later if they want slides. You'll probably close business faster because they'll get excited about what they see and they won't need all those other slides. You don't need to spend time on the problem, especially since it's already, they experience it every single day. So you could even start with saying, you know, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, you know, our clients all struggle with insurance, blah, 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 blah. If you don't want to assume that they have the same problem, and then let them say, hey, wait, we have that same problem here, even though you're probably pretty sure they do. And then now they use NaviPal to eliminate those tedious phone calls, voicemails, and Mr. blah, 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 and go straight into the demo like Rick and Jess have been saying. Your demo is, I mean, that's where I would start. And how do patients feel about it? I didn't recognize that one being left out, but certainly that's a wonderful thing to bring up to the docs so that they know, oh, this is good for us, but is it also good for our patients? Which leads me to, why aren't you doing, are you doing this with an app? You are?
No, this is, it is web-based.
It's web-based. So you mean it's SMS-based?
Right. So it's a text message with a link, and the link will be it's a unique link per patient.
Good. Okay.
So patients don't have to download anything. They don't have to sign up. All they need to do is click on the link.
Yeah.
And the camera will open.
Beautiful.
And they collect the information. And I think it was Rick. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say that didn't come out. So there's no app here. There's nothing to download. Like, make it about, hey, what? No app? No, nothing to download? Really? What? Huh? And then it works on feature phones probably, right? Mm-hmm. So that takes care of the issue that Rick brought up earlier about, well, what if they don't have a smartphone? Or somebody brought up, what if they don't have a smartphone? Doesn't matter. If they have a phone, it works.
Yeah.
So that whole SMS approach, instead of writing apps today, you need to press on that one so that they realize, wow, that's really simple, because we all text, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that you were standing today. That seemed to give you a better amount of energy. So appreciate you doing that. That was fun to see. And other than that, you know, I just agree with everybody else, and I can't wait to see where you take this next, because it seems like you have pivoted in the right way. And now you're solving a major pain point, and you have antibiotics, not a aspirin. So this is a real, true, I mean, you should be able to get under those owners' skin very, very quickly. A question, a statement, and then move straight into how to solve it. I wouldn't spend much time on the problem here. They know it.
Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Actually, it's interesting that because this is the first, I got some old slides and tried to kind of do something with it, but obviously it completely didn't work. The demo itself, it works. We set ourselves to just basically, okay, let's go find pilots, organizations that want to pilot this, and within the week we have to stop, because we got, I think it's a total of 13 already that agreed. So one of them, and some of them large, with 5 imaging centers, and so we, in less than a week, we had to say, whoa, stop offering pilots for now, because we need to.
Yeah, this almost seems like the kind of thing you could, in sales, I think they call it the puppy dog close, and you could actually have people pick up their smartphones wherever they are. And let me send you a link right now, and you can see for yourself how it works. It's like, what? You mean you're going to demo in my own hands and no app to download? Oh, that's pretty cool. And you'll give them that feeling of, holy crap, versus watching you demo on the screen. So I would really think about using the demo rather than you watch a demo. Let me have it, put it in your hands, if they're willing to give you their phone numbers, of course.
There is a question I have for the group. That Rick mentioned, I mean, if an elderly person, how do I use this technology? we did something super techy here. We added augmented reality, and it has AI as well. But with the augmented reality that we use for other stuff, we put it on here, which means that if you get a card and you're kind of moving it, and the software, as soon as it understands the letters and the numbers, it will lock them, and then it keeps, even if the card keeps moving, it keeps locking what it finds out, and then the image may be blurry, but we have all the OCR that we need. So we have augmented reality into this, right? So, but I don't know if by doing that I would just go too techy. And yes, Massimo.
Well, my question would be, are you doing the processing on the phone or on your server?
On our server.
Okay, that's better, because some phones, what you're describing requires pretty powerful CPU, so it's better like that. Okay, so there's no problem with people having older phones. Okay.
Correct. The image won't be stored on the phone. The software is using the camera just to kind of, just to have the visual, but the software is doing everything on the background.
Liederman, my first reaction to the augmented reality feature you just talked about is let them discover that. And if they don't discover it, then bring it up. So, if you do put the demo in their hands.
I like that, yeah.
If you put the demo in their hands only, if you do the demo, then you include it. But if you put it in their hands, somebody's probably going to do that just to see how good your thing is. And then they should come back and say, hey, you know what? I was shaking that card. And then you sold them like beyond, like the feature becomes something they've discovered rather as delight, rather than you telling them it's there.
Okay.
That'd be the way I would do it.
Keep it out of the pitch. Just let them find out.
Yeah, let them find out, especially if they do the demo in their own hands.
Yeah.
So Liederman, I had another question too. So we talked, we go back and forth in chat regarding some of the functions of the phone, and perhaps not everyone has a smartphone to be able to do some of these things. So when you send the SMS link to them, they may not have the ability to open up a web browser or do something on their phone. Do you have the capability of them simply taking a snapshot of, using their flip phone, whatever their jitterbugs flip phone with the numbers are this big, and just sending a picture of it back to that text that they received?
No, but we can do it.
Sounds like you need that feature.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking from an elderly patient's perspective. I'm thinking of my parents. My mother she had a smartphone and she gave it up because she just didn't like it. She just wants a phone. But if she had a text that came in that she could say, reply to this with a picture, she can hit reply, picture, and send. And then that's all that needs to be done. Everyone else can do the magic with their phone and get stuff because they have the smartphones. But perhaps for some of those elderly folks, that would open up and reduce the number of even calls to the elderly folks who wouldn't have a smartphone.
Okay. Yeah. So we don't have it, but we can. That's an easier problem to solve. The problem, I hear you, and I appreciate the question, because yes, I agree with you. The tricky part is to understand who can and who cannot use the link. Who do I go with the link that will open the camera, and who do we send a link that says attach, the file, the image that you already have saved on your phone. So it's almost,
well, I mean, you have the option of giving them both. You have the option of giving both. If you can't, here's a text I'm sending you. If you open this link, if you're unable to open the link, reply to this with your picture. It seems like it solves the problem right away.
No,
Yes.
sorry, it doesn't work. You cannot reply to a phone with a picture. The picture that you reply with the MMS is very limited in resolution. There's no way you can read any data out of it.
Well, and there's another challenge. The challenge is HIPAA on that regard. The text SMS will have to be HIPAA compliant. And if it's HIPAA compliant, then I'm going to have you log on to a specific messaging system. So that's a challenge. And you can do it as a patient. You can send it to me and I can receive it, and that's fine. But I cannot ask you as a provider to send me a picture of something that is that I'm not giving you the HIPAA compliant channel. So, but nevertheless, it's a good workflow problem that I need to think about and solve. Thank you.
Yep. Yep. And Liederman, also have a look through the chat, because there has been a lot of discussion going on is exactly about those kind of issues that probably will help you refine not only your message, but also possibly the offering as well. As far as message, pretty far up in the chat, Michael also asked, based on Jess's point, whether the patients can save the information or not. So that is definitely something, if they can do it, add it to your presentation as well, because I think that's another big selling point is, you only have to enter the information once, and then you're set to go for all eternity.
Yeah, and yes, definitely. Thank you. And the answer is yes. I don't know if you notice in the video, after you take the image and it does the OCR, then it takes you somewhere else. It has a calendar and that has information about your appointment. So yes, you can keep that. We are working on, and I don't know, I mean, we're probably out of time, but it is super cool. I'm super excited about it because we're making it part of the wallet. So we're working on all that information you leave it on your wallet, and then either QR code or I share with you, because as a patient, I can share whatever information I want with whomever I want. Nothing prevents me from that, right? As a provider, I can only ask you to share stuff with me that I have already protected for you and channels that I have protected for you. But if I'm a patient, I say, I got all my information here. Here's my QR code, scan it. And now you have all my allergies and my insurance information and my medications and all that. So that is where it's going. So we're focused now. The problem we're solving is huge, is going to be the elephant in the room, but we're going in healthcare, right? Which is, how do we democratize the data? But we're starting with insurance information because it is something that hurts everywhere. Every provider, every doctor has to deal with it. And so we figure out, if we enter with that little piece and we grow it from there, then we have a better chance of really reshaping healthcare in the US.
Yeah. All right. Thank you again, Liederman, for stepping in at such a short notice. I can tell from the energy here, this discussion could go on an easy another 30 minutes or so, which tells me you're really on to something. So grab the chat as well. And I want to thank everybody, all the coaches, Massimo, Nathan, Rick, Michael, Jess, and Scotty, for all the valuable feedback that you have provided and do provide week in and week out. And with that, we have reached the end for today. I wish you a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Everyone.